trip, and that's why he unalived himself, because of a bad trip? All right, today I'm checking out Okkervil River. I'm listening to John Allen Smith's Sales. Let's get into it.
By the second verse, dear friends, my head will burst, my life will end. So I'd like to start this one off by saying, live and love. I was young and at home in bed, and I was hanging on the words some poem said. In 31, I was impressionable, I was upsettable. I tried to make my breathing stop, my heart beat slow. So when my mom and John came in, I would be cold. From a bridge on Washington Avenue, the year of 1972, broke my bones and skull, and it was memorable. It was half a second and I was halfway down. Do you think I wanted to turn back around and teach a class where you kiss the ass that I've exposed to you? And at the funeral, the university cried at 3 poems they present in place of a broken me. I was breaking in a case of suds at the brass rail, fall down drunk with his tongue torn out and his balls removed. And I knew that my last lines were gone while stupidly I lingered on. Oh, but wise men know when it's time to go, and so I should too. And so I fly into the brightest winter sun of this frozen town. I'm stripped down to move on. My friends, I'm gone.
So he's singing from the perspective of the poet, right? That's how he's narrating the songs. And right where I just paused it, he goes, my friends, I'm gone. That's symbolically in the song. That's the spot where he unalived himself, right? There's plenty of annotations I want to click in the song. The lyrics are quite, you know what I'm saying? Quite, I don't know the right word, given the delicate nature of the topic. You know what I mean? The lyrics are interesting. You could just say that much. I've been trying to follow along as close as I can, but that's for me. I think he's narrating as the guy, and as he's singing some things, there's a lot of references to unaliving himself. Like he's like, the bones in his skull burst, and this. By the end of the second verse, I'll be unalived or dead. He said something to that effect. So did John Allen Smith write a poem about unaliving himself, narrating and saying that by the end of this section, I will not be like, you know what I mean? Is that what happened? I can't wait to get to the about section. Oh my goodness, what specifically went on here?
Well, I hear my father fall, and I hear my mother call, and I hear the others all whispering, come home. I'm sorry to go, trip I've ever been on. Hoist up John B. sails. See how the mainsail sails. I'm folding my heart in my head and I wanna go with a book in each hand. In the way I had planned. I feel so broke up, I wanna go home.
At the end of the song, when he's talking about this is the worst trip I've ever been on, he's talking about after dying. Like, speaking of after he's unalived himself, speaking of that as a trip, is that what he's saying? John Allen Smith Jr. is the birth name of poet John Berryman. Okay, so that's why he's saying John B. Sells, because John Berryman, whose life and death is the focus of this song. Right, we got that. By the second verse, this is how the song started. By the second verse, dear friends, my head will burst, my life will end. It was immediate with this song, okay? It was immediate, like the very, I guess, graphic lyrics, you could say. Very detailed, kind of edgy, just not normal lyrics up. This is clever play on the chronology of a song. Generally, we think of a song as all taking place at once, as a reflection of feeling or an event in one place and time. But here, Chef tells a story where each verse covers a different point in the same night. The narrator is planning on unaliving himself, and according to his plan, it will occur sometime in the second verse. In fact, it's the final line of the second verse. So this is just the song. I didn't know if the song was kind of reflecting what John Berryman did, that he wrote a poem about this. But no, it seems like maybe he didn't write a poem about unaliving himself. Maybe that was spontaneous or something, who knows. Interestingly, the timeline isn't linear. In a Pulp Fiction-y twist, the third verse explains the events leading up to the narrator's decision in the first verse. Oh, okay. Well, that kind of answered my question. I was kind of sad there was no annotations in this last verse, right? I was wondering, this is the worst trip I've ever been on. Is he talking about after death? No, he's talking about probably like acid or something. He had a bad trip, and that's why he unalived himself, because of a bad trip? Shep here, okay, this is the lyric, but this is the worst trip I've ever been on. Shep here transitions into quoting the melody of Sloop John B., a traditional Bahamian folk song made famous by the Beach Boys. While Chef quotes the melody, he changes the lyrics to fit the narrative of Berryman's life and death. The line, "This is the worst trip I've ever been on," ends each verse of the original song, which recounted the revelries of a particular debaucherous crew. Okay, so that's not really specifically what John Berryman, like why he died, right? Because he had a really bad trip. What was this about? And his balls removed. Like, what is he? His balls weren't literally removed. It's a reference to Berryman losing the courage to keep living. Oh, so they're flaming him. Dang. Testicles are often used to describe courage or conviction, typically spoken as grow a pair or grow some balls. That's true. That is how we use balls and testicles in modern speak. That's what it's probably ancient. People have been saying this forever, I'm sure. And there's truth to that, because your balls are probably instrumental in producing testosterone, which gives you a lot of courage. Maybe even too much courage sometimes. But dang, to talk about someone who unalived himself as his balls removed is like, I get it. It's just a very blunt way of putting it. No, he didn't sugarcoat it at all. He didn't sugarcoat it at all. Well, who knows what that man was going through? I get how you could view it like that, like his balls were removed. He doesn't have the courage to keep living, but we don't know what exactly he was going through either. Yeah, it ain't so clear cut and dry as, oh, he just had no courage, so he unalived himself. And like mental illness is real. Who knows what? Who knows what was going on? The man who wrote this is probably young, probably in his 20s. Probably in his 20s when he wrote this. I wouldn't view unaliving yourself as having your balls removed. You just don't know. You don't know what somebody's going through. In my 20s, I may have viewed it like that. Okkervil River, this is 2007, probably in the 20s. Probably in the 20s. That was interesting though, and like the way he wrote it, it's like it was just so vivid. And it's just lyrically so different. Like the vivid depictions and metaphors he used were just like, oh, I couldn't wait to go and Genius at least click a few of them.
I don't know. Tell me, man, what do you know? What do you know? Me and my boys on the road. go. She told me, boy, you the go. Like I don't know.